Hello, art friends, evolutionary energy arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. As always, want to give thanks to our Patreons for their support and their patience, as we've had issues all weekend with Patreon. But they literally have a desk, a help desk that's only open Monday through Friday, regular business hours, so you can't get anything resolved on the weekends, which is really a pain.
It's a pain, but we're working on it, so we appreciate your patience, and we'll have things up and running as soon as they allow us to. We have sent in messages, so hopefully it'll be addressed very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. It seriously threw a wrench in plans because I was planning things kind of exclusively for Patreon, and it is what it is. We just have to adjust. You may be aware of your microbes, microbiota, and microbiome. Microbiome is something that probably most people have heard of. What is your microbiome? Again, it's different entities living in the universe that is you. Basically, is one way of looking at it. And this includes many different types of entities. You definitely have things that are very beneficial, and the last thing we did, we're doing a fast right now, but the last thing we ate was some homemade yogurt right before the fast, bringing in some of the good bacteria, because bacteria is a massive proportion of your microbiome. 40 trillion, according to some estimates, bacteria cells in the body, 30 trillion human cells in the body. Again, these are just estimates. I've seen different numbers from different sources, but you get the idea. It's a massive amount of entities, and I wanted to share that every single one of these trillions of entities is an individual unit of consciousness. Sometimes we may think that, only humans have a certain level of consciousness. No, this is the as above, so below, as within, so without. Every single cell has consciousness like you do. It's just on a different scale.
It is. And, just to go over some very important points of the microbiome, it helps us digest food, absorb nutrients. It regulates our immune system. It protects us against harmful pathogens. And the big one, it influences mood and brain health. It helps us make those hormones that we need to function at a day-to-day basic level. And I know this is not a medical video, but I made a really big mistake, and I did some things, and I wiped out my microbiome, and it was horrible. It was horrible. It's taken years to rebuild it, but I have rebuilt it. I would say almost completely. But that was something that I didn't realize would happen when I made certain decisions, because I was in a lot of pain, and I was desperate, and I was scared. And I didn't know of another way. I just wanted to survive, just like everything else, just like everything else. Like your microbiome wants to survive, it wants to live, but so do the parasites too. So we have to make sure we're feeding the right energy inside of our body and realize it's consciousness. It has a thought process. It knows where it needs to go. I think that's the most impressive thing. Like, this microbiome knows if it needs to be around the heart. It knows if it needs to be in the stomach. It knows where it needs to go. And we tend to think, oh, they're just little cells, or it's just a little piece of slime. No, it's not.
Yeah, it's so much more than that. It's so big. And what Cindy was referring to is, again, something that in today's allopathic medicine is done routinely. And when you take antibiotics, you're basically using napalm on a jungle. And that jungle is your microbiome inside your body. And you are literally blasting and burning away everything. This is a big realization. We need to maintain a homeostasis, and part of that is literally your emotions. So We've had a lot of channeled material come through. It's all over the place on different topics. And so we're going to break it down and sort it down into a series of different videos here. This one is going to go up on Hearts Home on YouTube. And, this one is looking at it a little bit more from the spiritual side, emotional side of things. Lakshmi's come through several times in the last couple days. Last night, really good conversations with Lakshmi, with Cindy under Full Trance channel. And it was just something that I feel like we really, really need to share with you guys. And so recognize the emotions that we have. When we have our emotions are not a human thing per se. They're not exclusive to humans. Animals have emotions. In fact, all consciousness has emotions. This is something else to realize when we're talking about that microbiome. That microbiome has emotions. The bacteria, they have emotions themselves. Every cell in your body has emotions. This is like a big realization. This is how the system works. This is how the layering of consciousness on different levels of existence, different densities. It is so big. It is so vast. It is so complex. That is literally mind-blowing, the scope of this, because again, we're only seeing a tiny portion. The visible universe that we see is just such a tiny little sliver. You're not looking at 1/10 of 1% of all of reality. It's not even anything remotely that much. It really truly is. Even though we're living in one universe, which is just one single cell, it's still so vast, it's almost beyond comprehension. When we look to storms in nature, again, we got some interesting information and confirmation on Earth itself and where Earth is going, where she's been. And we'll share in videos. I'm thinking one of them I'm going to put up on the HEEARTS on YouTube, a little bit more earth change related, but still it's all consciousness. When you see the storms, what do the storms do? Well, you could liken the storms to emotions, absolutely. And when we are angry and irritated, what's it look like on the insides of the cells that are in our body? And we might look at red blood cells traveling, through the blood itself and that river of life, so to speak. And we see them looking the way we do, these little circular units, bacteria we see like this, algae, etc., fungi. The reality is, they might see themselves, while we see them like this, they might see themselves like this. How do you know that these little, bacteria that seem to be shaped, like this to our eye, it does not think of itself as being a humanoid type of shape and literally, driving to work every day in its car. This is part of the reality because, this world and this reality is truly only taking its solid form in some ways from our expectations. So we have to control our thoughts, control our frequencies, control our mind, and this is what Lakshmi wanted to get across, taming the storms internally. Yet the storms do serve a big purpose because they do wash away things that need to be addressed and moved on, so to speak. When you look at not just the Hindu point of view and the Jain and some of the other systems that humanity has devised to understand and humanize how the universe works, we have the devas like Lakshmi so far up the totem pole per se. They are beings that, again, have branched off from Source. We're all part of Source. these beings have had, in most cases, countless lives, and they've explored so many different realities over so many different planes of existence. And they've chose to kind of stay at a certain particular frequency and range where they can guide humans and non-humans alike. Again, Lakshmi is known to us as Lakshmi, but to other entities on other worlds, different name, but same being, and this is part of that realization. They become archetypal forces, and Lakshmi is definitely abundance personified. And abundance is not necessarily a bad thing, and it's not necessarily always a good thing if you're looking at it from just a materialistic point of view, because again, the real currency is karma, and our actions and deeds will bring about certain reactions and new deeds coming about by everybody that is in our circle of life here that we are experiencing. So, storms, when we look at it, and we look at tornadoes and how they spin, and we look at hurricanes, and they kind of follow the same pattern as a tornado. They're both whirling vortices. Anything cyclonic, again, spinning, and the water is programmable. Water is in some ways emotion programmed, and it's life itself. We wouldn't have life without the water. The water comes, the water cleans. Water can be used in ceremonies to bless and to cleanse, and also to charge and to amplify. And you can charge and amplify your water with the intention of healing every single cell in your body and bringing it into optimal balance, and then ingesting it after you put that intention into the water. That's a very powerful practice. Same thing as praying over food. Again, putting intention into it and being clear with your intention.
Right. The programming is very, very important. And, speaking of water, I make moon water on a full moon, depending on what the moon is. And we have a full moon of abundance right now. So I'm definitely making some moon water there. That's always fun, because you are not only programming it yourself, you're using the universe to help, and the universe's cycles to assist you in making that water. And then what do you do with it? Well, it's fun. You can do a lot of stuff with it. You can do cleansing with it. You can do rituals with it. You can do prayer with it. There's all kinds of things that you can do with this water. Water is so magical. It holds memory as well. And there are beings that I see, and they listen to the rivers, they listen to the water, and they can hear what's gone on all around the world just by feeling and listening to this energy that has been around the world and experienced and heard things, and it's held on to its memory. So water is probably one of the most magical substances that I could ever think of, and it's so helpful. And oh my gosh, it cleanses our bodies. It makes us feel better. If you're feeling yucky, you cleanse with water. You drink the water, and it's all programmable. I think that is so cool. That the matrix, the natural matrix, is something that it's always going to be amazing, and there's never going to be anything that can really come close to it. Although we do have the other matrix, the dark matrix, that is trying to mimic every step of the way.
So it's so important to control our emotions. It doesn't mean subdue, tame, or burying your emotions is the last thing you want to do. When you look again, as above, so below, if you look at the chakras, you'll notice these are they very much look like tornadoes, do they not? They are drawing energy into the body and into the energy bodies, because again, we are multidimensional beings. So at the point of passing on and leaving life, if we focus on the crown chakra and focus on exiting via the crown chakra, that will be very advantageous for us. If you get used to going to sleep and focus on your crown chakra, chances are you're going to have a better experience in the dream world and be on a higher frequency. We can utilize different chakras for different purposes. You can actually send healing energy from different chakras to beings other people in order to help them heal. Typically and primarily in energy work, you usually use the chakras on your palms to send energy. And that's why a lot of times you'll see the goddesses, and they'll have their hands out like this, and really when you look at this, typically in pranic healing, we'll use our non-dominant hand to gather life force, and if you are looking to heal the body, pulling up the life force from the earth itself, and then gathering and sending it out through your dominant hand. So if you are right-handed, gather the chi with the left, and at the same time you're pulling in the chi from the bubbling wells in the feet. These are the K1 points in the body. The first kidney acupuncture point in the body, which is in the center of the foot, right inside of that ridge where your toes are. When you look at this, again, we'll also be drawing in energy from all the chakras, really is what I always focus on. But primarily, again, there are different techniques and different lines of energy work. Again, Reiki, pranic healing, Qigong, medical Qigong, and other forms too that have developed throughout the years. But when you see, a lot of times you'll see them with one palm like this and one palm like that, and it is sending energy. Again, it's gathering and sending energy and blessing us, which is what they do, because they're at that higher point. They've been through all of the things that we've been through, many, many incarnations. And many people embodied on Earth have been through hundreds or thousands of incarnations as well. But again, this radiance that you see here, the aura, this is again signifying an enlightened being. And Lakshmi, again, is thought of as the goddess of abundance. And that's abundance of love and of peace and of happiness and all the natural things, not just money, abundance and bounty on every scale. So again, looking at the chakras, they are energy vortices, they are gateways, they are pathways to other dimensions. They are also associated, when you look at the main ones on the body, in particular along what we call the Taiji pole, they're associated with nerve plexus areas as well. So, they're drawing in the energy, which again, when you look at the storms that are out there, the lightning and such, that's intensified life force. That's prana, that's plasma. That's what that is. We have storms that go on inside us all the time. So sending positive signals to the body, to the cells, telling them that you love them and care about them and want them to be happy, because each cell is doing its job in keeping your body functioning. So again, this is the bigger picture. There are many consciousnesses involved in a human life and other lives too. Again, I don't want to put humans at the top of the pinnacle per se, as we are still, we have a long way to go in this journey. Oh man, to get to be at the point where the devas are in their understanding and their realization of how the universe works. Again, Vishnu is the one that we look at as the creator of this particular universe, but there are other creators of other universes, yet there's one source of all, of which we are all a part. So, yes, stargates, chakras are stargates. When we look at hurricanes, they're coming, and what do? They upturn everything. After the hurricane goes through an area, it's wiping out that which needs to be moved away, and it's circulating the oceans, literally. Often the ocean itself, where the hurricane has gone over, will it's bringing colder water up to the surface. In so many ways, it's really processing emotions for the planet. This is part of that realization. So with every breath, If you're drawing in life force knowingly and sending the life force to the cells, you're helping the cells do its job. There's no more powerful practice than Qigong. And, any form of energy work, because you're literally doing that which is going to accelerate your evolution, mind, body, and spirit. And you do get to take the energy with you. That's another video subject that we'll be going into in more depth, but I just wanted to focus on right here the importance of the signals that we're sending to our body every day. It's good to surround yourself with love and positive emotions as much as possible. This is why we do have to unplug again from news and from everything that's sending us these negative frequencies, because you are again inside a natural matrix, but you're also inside unnatural dark matrix within the natural matrix, which has hijacked humanity to use our energies and the energies of the planet and other beings too on other densities around us in the near vicinity, to use their energies in a parasitic fashion. So again, the individual can ascend up and out of this matrix, relatively quickly, and that's up to the individual. But it's understanding the bigger picture. So speak positively to every cell in the body.
Every cell is always listening. It's like this silent recording device. So if we're cursing ourselves or, saying bad things, even in a joking matter, they don't differentiate between joking and serious. They're just listening and they're carrying out instructions. So if you're saying something innocent, like, oh my gosh, I'm always broke, guess what? Your cells are listening, and subconsciously they can set you up so that you don't have abundance, because you're the one speaking it. So our words are so important. And then also the body and its purging. I look at storms and say, if your body, you're sick, that's purging. These are things that no longer serve you, and these could be emotions as well. Emotions get stuck in the fascia, they get stuck in the energy field. And this is where a lot of times energy work comes in and can release those emotions and give you back the light that was once trapped. So, in a world that can be so difficult, look to your friends, and your friends might come in all shapes and sizes. You can never, to me, you can never look at animals and say they don't have feelings. They absolutely have feelings. They understand. They watch you, they protect you, they comfort you. We can learn so much about being humane and human by watching our animals, I feel.
Yes, absolutely. And, beings like the devas might actually come and send a portion of their consciousness into animals to be our guides and be our protectors. And, again, to share some of this with us. I wouldn't be able to be obviously the totality of a consciousness like the devas, but they can send a fragment, a shard, again, a fractal. And this is how the universe works. It is a fractal. So I hope you guys got something out of this. I look forward to your comments. Thank you for your support. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe these videos. Let's awaken as many people as possible. Source bless, and namaste.
Namaste.